Welcome to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Today's review will be on the Sinn Homage SN064 Sinn T1 Homage. While you're there, please hit the subscribe button. Remember to click the notifications bell so you receive notifications and you are up to date with all the latest reviews. While you're also there, please check the description, which will contain links to the relevant watches that are being reviewed, and any Aliexpress links are affiliated. I hope you enjoyed the review. To the channel, thank you guys for tuning in. Today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Sinn Homage SN064 dive watch. As you saw in the intro video, this dive watch is a homage to Sinn model number T1. If you don't know who Sinn are, they're a high-end watchmaker. It's worth checking them out. Just give them a quick Google. They do fantastic watches and they're really up there with some of the best pieces. Right, before I go any further, you know what time it is. Hit that subscribe button. Don't make me say it on every single video. Join the subscriber base. Comment, like. Your support is appreciated. While you're there, also check out the descriptions on all my videos. I will try and link all the watches that I review. They will be in the description. Usually it's the Aliexpress affiliate link. Affiliate links from Aliexpress means they'll give me a small commission for me driving traffic through to their website. Obviously that doesn't cost you anymore. It just helps you support this channel. Any commission that I earn from Aliexpress, I put it back into watches and just general upkeep of the channel. Also in the description, I'll link my eBay store. I'll link just my email address as well if you want to contact me. I do a few different things. So if you just want to say hello about a couple of people, just drop me an email and just talking about random stuff or just giving me questions. There's no problem, contact me. And then in the comment section, say what you need to say. It's all good. That being said, I'm going to send you over to a video where we go and check out the Aliexpress store to see what information they have available, what that store looks like, the Sinn Homage store on Aliexpress, sorry, and see what other options are available. Then we'll come back and continue with the rest of the review. So we are on the Aliexpress Sinn Homage store looking at the Sinn Homage diver model number SN064. Let's first look at some stock pictures. A couple of the color options available. You've got the grey and the silver. I've opted for the grey one. Some great close-ups. As you can see, the finish is already different. It's a sandblasted finish. Customer reviews, 5 out of 5. 3 customers have bought it. So if you just go down, you'll see the description. Let's cover specifications here. I love it when, you know, the stores give out all the specs, all the numbers, so there's no guessing games involved. You've got a case thickness of 12.6 mil, dial diameter 44 mil, and a lug-to-lug of 51, as you can see on the actual picture. The movement uses a PT5000, which we will cover after this video. Stainless steel case material, bandwidth 22 mil, and you've got a 200 meter water resistance, super luminova C3 lume on the dial. Let's just scroll down, see what else Sinn Homage have to say. Really nice stock pictures. I love the bezel. I love how they've painted the bezel. Looks really nice, looks really different as well. So apparently they use the Sinn technology process, using the new Sinn technology process, case, strap, Okay. Sunny pattern design, amazing. You've got an octopus now on the back of the case, and the case is S20172. Don't know what that means just yet. You've got the $ S on the case, on the clasp, sorry. And the lume looks pretty strong. So scroll back up, and so the price is 158. Okay. So right, we have the watch here. I have, you know, took the liberty of taking off all the little stickers and all this and that. I've also sized the bracelet up just to make things easier as we go along. In the box, you've got this capsule style box. Very robust and solid, these things. No complaints at all. You get a warranty card from San Martin, dated, stamped. You also get a booklet, which is a user manual. You don't get many user manuals in these watches, so it's always good to have. What the hell? It's upside down. Okay. So blah 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 blah. How to use it, how to do this, how to do that. What the actual hell? It's just okay. Amazing QC. So you also get a little tag from San Martin, and they've also put on aliexpress.com. So that's that. So a couple of things before I go ahead. This is my first ever high beat movement that I've had any experience with. And on that high beat part, as I mentioned when we looked at the AliExpress video, this does come with a PT5000 movement. I wanted to make a separate video on this movement because I think it's a fantastic movement, but I'll try and cover it here because it's relevant to the watch. So if you don't know what it is, and you should know about me by now, I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to these sort of details. So I feel I should really cover what the movement being used is. So to try and summarize, PT5000 is a movement made by a Chinese manufacturing company. It's called Hong Kong Precision Tech. Now, obviously, we know the taboo around China, especially regarding manufacturing. Everyone thinks they're cheap and nasty and whatever. So due to that, they want to challenge this conception and this notion out there. So they made a high beat, 8,000 beats a minute, or 8 ticks a second movement to compete with the ETA 28242s. So this is an ETA clone like the Sellita that you'll see, Sellita SW200, that you'll see out there. The reason there's so many clones of the ETAs, some time ago, some machines were bought, and also their patents ran dry. So that means anyone was free to clone them. There are a few clones out there. Usually they're quite good. But this one now, this is relatively new, but it's caught a lot of hype in China and on the media and in the watch world as well. So just on the movement, as mentioned, it's an 8 ticks a second high beat movement. It's 25 joules like the ETA, and it does hack and does hand wind. Now, what they did to actually prove this was good and this was better, Hong Kong sent it to a place in Germany, and they sent it to the Chronometer Observatory. They couldn't get that COSC check due to they only certify Swiss-made movements. So with this German observatory, Chronometer Observatory, they do have a very tight and rigid standard. They've got like 7 testing categories, and they only allow a deviation of minus 3.8 seconds to plus 5.8 seconds of movement per day on the watches. Now, this movement did hit that certification. It did reach that standard. Now, a couple of things just to bear in mind. Well, one thing in particular, that was one movement. They could have just paid a lot of attention while making that. They could have, done whatever they need to bring the best movement for this. It might not necessarily mean that every single movement produced by them is at that top level, or it might do. However, there's a lot of positive news around it. There are more micro brands using this movement. One in particular is Hampton. I know a lot of my subscribers do have like the Hampton, Kraken, etc. So on their website, they also say that they've tested hundreds of these movements, and they all are as good as and as accurate as the ETA movements. So I think just with this particular piece, to get a high beat movement for that price range for around £154, I remember when I looked at this watch months and months ago, it was a lot more than that. And that's one of the reasons I don't like to mention prices, because depending on when you see the video, the prices, they go up and down on AliExpress. So it's always best to look at the live price. But yeah, this is a homage to Sinn the T1 model. I don't know too much about the Sinn. I've had a look on the website, look at the watches. They do some fantastic stuff. Just pointing out on this Sinn tech that San Martin do. Well, we'll cover that. They don't actually do the actual Sinn tech. Sorry, that Sinn employ a bunch of amazing techniques for the dive watches and other types of watches, which includes like special kind of coating, special heat treatment. They'll use special kind of bezels, and they'll even oil fill some of their watches. They do a lot of amazing things to their watches at the moment. Now we've got the technical stuff out the way. Let's go into the aesthetics, the dial, crystal, bezel, case, and all that. So let's start off with the dial. You'll see that I went for the grey version. I do really like the colour grey myself on a personal level. And this grey, it's got a really nice sun ray effect. Let's see if you can see that on the camera. Very nice sunburst sun ray pattern. The dial itself, much of it is printed, and you've got these applied layers of Lume. The hands, you've got obelisk style hour and minute hand, and you've got this reverse lollipop style seconds hand with that red tip. You'll notice the seconds hand and the hour hand do reach up all the way to the minute markers, just to give you that accurate time setting capability. The St. Martin logo is at the 12 o'clock mark, and it's the hexagonal it's the hexagonal logo. I don't mind it too much. Now when it comes to logos and names, I don't really, unless they're really bad, I don't really mind much, to be honest. You got the date window at 3 o'clock, pretty standard date window. The date wheel is black. There's no frame around the date window. Personally, I do like those small features. Printing at the 6 p.m, you've got SSD01 automatic 200 meters. Now, I mentioned, I don't know if you caught it, the model number is SN064, but you've got SSD01. So I spoke with St. Martin, and I asked them what's up with that. So they basically said originally they were, before they actually named the watch, and I remember this watch has been there for months on the actual St. Martin store, and they didn't really have a model number. So I think they wanted to go with this, but then they chose that model number. Very strange, just a slight discrepancy. So yeah, there you have it. Just a bit of detail on the actual hands. They do have a matte finish, almost sandblasted, could be, and which matches the actual case coating as well. Just one thing to note, this is a homage on the Sinn T1 as mentioned. Now the case, it looks very similar to the actual Sinn. However, the dial hands, they are quite different to the original, which I think it's a good thing. I mean, it's a clear telltale homage, but it's not a full-on copy, which I do like. I do think you know, brands like this should, if they wanna, all the other watchmakers do, copy whatever case you want, but just try to own it, try to change it slightly, and just make it your own, really. The Lume, as mentioned, is it was a Super Luminova C3 Lume. On that note, let's have a quick look at the Lume. As you can see, the Lume is a C3 Super Luminova, very well lit, super bright, very clear. You can see a slight difference on the 12 o'clock marker on the actual bezel. It doesn't look as bright or evenly applied. I don't know why that is. However, the rest of it looks good. Being Swiss C3 Super Luminova, the longevity will be quite good. They should usually last around the 7 to 8 hours mark. I've not tested it over an 8 hour period, but really good Lume. Now after the dial, move on to the sapphire crystal. It's a single dome sapphire crystal with no AR coating. It's a refreshing difference from seeing all those over AR coated sapphire crystals out there. Just look at fit and finish. Now I am getting a slight blue hue. I don't know if it is, but outdoors you really can't see any AR coating. But fit and finish, it is superbly fitted. It matches this case so well. You can see it sits so flush within the actual bezel, and you've got this ever so slight dome. I personally prefer single dome sapphire crystals over the double dome. I think it makes some watches just too round and look slightly bulbous. One other slight visual distortion, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but when I first had it, I could have sworn the dial was curved, but I know the dial's flat, but it just gives this slight visual effect to the dial. Bezel insert, not bezel insert, sorry, the bezel, very, very tight, very nice sound. It's got a very smooth movement. It is a very different bezel than what I'm normally used to, those clickety clacky rattly things. One reason is, and this is respect to St. Martin, credit to them, they have tried to, I'd say not copy, because they could have copied it a lot better, try to achieve something similar to what Sinn do. So now Sinn have this thing called the captive safety bezel. So their bezel design is different to a lot of dive watches, is because one, they want to stop bezels popping off if they do hit something hard while you're diving underwater. Secondly, is to prevent one finger movement or accidental movement of the bezel. So the way the Sinn works, you have to press down with both fingers, and that releases the bezel and allows you to turn it. Now this obviously doesn't have such a system, because you can, if you really wanted to, turn it with a single finger, but you have to push quite hard. So St. Martin have made this quite tight to prevent, you know, that loose rotation, and what that does, it gives it a pretty different feel and sound. I do like it. Initially it's a bit tight, but when you sort of wear into it slightly, it's not so tight, but you won't get that accidental rotation, and it does sort of grow on you. That gives you also, there's no bezel insert, it gives you a very slim profile to the actual bezel. So all in all, it is a positive. Now secondly, just look at these indices around the bezel, and I love the color combinations used. I like the red, black, and I believe this might be some sort of enamel or some waterproof paint used, but it does look enamel to me. And you'll see at the 12 o'clock there is a illuminated pip, which you saw in the actual Lume vid, the Lume shot video, that it isn't illuminated as well as the actual dial, but it's okay, it is visible. Moving on to the case. The case is sand blasted, and then it's got this weird smooth and hard coating on it. Spoke with St. Martin, asked them what this was and how it ties in with the Sinn technologies that they go on about on the actual Aliexpress store. So they come back and told me it's this anti-fingerprint coating. So I'm guessing after it's been sandblasted, it might have some kind of ceramic coating applied. But they're not wrong. You literally look, you know, bare hands, and there's no fingerprints on the case. Now that is a such a really good touch to have, because as you know, you'll see watch reviews doing it, cleaning the cases, etc. And look, there's no fingerprints on the watch, so that's a fantastic feature to have on the actual case. What that does mean though, for some it might look, or it does look like that it's an unfinished watch, because it just looks like it's been primed, to be honest. So that's when, you know, before you paint a car, when you look at the car bodies, they're usually this sort of color, which is the undercoat that's been applied before the paint. So it does have a touch of that, but they do look better outside than they do inside. So that's the case shape. Case shape itself, sorry, that's the case coating. The case shape itself is a cushion style case. It's got that 4 PM crown. The case itself is really well made. I guess it's pointless, there's nothing brushed or polished, it's just that one matte coating. The crown itself, very good. great to grip. You can hear that hand winding. Got to see the sweep of that high beat movement, 8 ticks a second. Just pull it out once, you can do the date. 2 clicks, you'll stop the second hand. So I'm guessing with the coating it might give some added scratch resistance as well. You won't get those really fine hairline marks on the case that you do get on high polished surfaces and also brush surfaces. So I haven't really hit on anything to find out if it does, you know, if it's anything more than your usual watch. Just the size of the case as well, it is 51mm and 44mm in diameter. You'll see after this, I'll do a wrist shot. It seems like a big watch. 51mm is just, you know, just at that boundary for my 6.5 inch hyper masculine python tail, you know, super thick wrist. But it wears really well. That's due to obviously how slim the case is as well, due to the bezel. So it does really fit and conform around the wrist. So you'll see that in the actual wrist shots. Really great fitting. I decided to swap out the stainless steel bracelet on this St. Martin and fit it with a Marine National Paratrooper strap. You can see how the strap does match the colors of the case, and also that coating on the case does give it a slight shimmer effect while the sun hits it. Also that beautiful sun ray pattern on the dial does really stand out in the sun. You've got no air coating on the sapphire. It gives you that clear visibility of the actual dial, although it does hold a bit of glare in direct sunlight. Here the watch is on the stainless steel bracelet. Even though dimensionally it is quite large, it does fit really well and conforms to my 6.5 inch wrist. So far, I haven't really had anything in particular to moan about on the watch. I think it's a fantastically well built watch. Now let's move on to the bracelet. The first thing you'll notice is there is a slight color mismatch from the case to the bracelet. Ever so slight. I don't know if it's fully visible on camera, but visually when you look at it in person in some light, you will see a very slight mismatch, which is, you know, it's up to you if you can live with that. To me, it isn't too much. When you got it face on, you won't really notice it. Bracelet itself, you've got solid end links. It's an oyster style bracelet. There is a slight taper to the actual bracelet, but not too much. Clasp used, you've got St. Martin written on the flip lock, and then this, I don't understand this. It's like a dollar sign, S with a star. I don't know why. Let's open it. Okay. So this is my only problem with the clasp. So the clasp is missing that spring release mechanism, and it also doesn't have that little spring bar that you find behind this part here. So when the flip lock is closing, every time it's going up and down, it's actually rubbing against the clasp. So even if your watch is brand new, you're going to have this mark, and it does cause damage to the coating. Now eventually, opening, closing, it is going to cause more damage, so you'll have scarring on either side of the clasp. I don't know why they've done that, to be honest. The clasp itself is really well made. You know, they've put some time and effort into the clasp, no doubt. It's got this lovely groove. It sits really flush. And St. Martin are known for the bracelets and clasps, no doubt. You've got 5 micro adjustments on it. Does it have a dive extension? Let's have a look. To be honest, when you've got 5 micro adjusts, you're probably not going to. But is that the dive extension? No, there's no dive extension, which doesn't make sense. They should have had one in there, especially if they're homaging the Sinn T1. Okay, just another point on the bracelet, it does have screw down screw down links while resizing it. They're okay. They are all stuck in. They've all been Loctited in, so it's a good idea when you do change it to Loctite those screws back in. The case back, you can see how you've got the curve of the case and how that really helps contour over your wrist. You have that St. Martin octopus on the back, and that's that. Just a quick summary. I do love the watch. I like what they've done for the price point, crazy price point, to get that high beat movement. So if you're interested in just having your first high beat movement or just having one of those in your collection, I would say get this for the 150 mark. It's incredible, to be honest. Also, the finishing, very subjective, but if you do like this coating and you like this color, again, it is something different than what we're used to from the usual brands. My only issue with this is the clasp, as I mentioned, and one more thing is that, you know, the model number, the octopus on the back, and it brings me back down to that thing about standardization. So you'll notice all the brands have done it: Steel Dive, Heimdall, Proxima do it, and St. Martin. And I messaged St. Martin to say just stick to logos. Is okay if you want to use some with a hexagonal font and then some with writing. Heimdall do the same, but just like whatever you're stamping on the back, make sure you stick to that across all of them if you can. On the case backs, just keep that one format throughout, you know, rather than just have different animals. One day is an octopus, one day is a giraffe, who knows. So that concludes my review. Hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed reviewing this watch. I think it's a hell of a piece. You know, a really great watch for the money as well. Really up there, very well refined, great. The fit and finish of the watch is overall is really great. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you're interested, please see the description. Use the Aliexpress link. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you on the next video.